Plaintiff Eric Smith met the defendant while they were living in San Diego. And when Eric needed to find a replacement roommate, the defendant moved in. Eric claims after the defendant moved in, he started smoking marijuana constantly. And he's suing him today for his security deposit and cable bills. Defendant Michael McDonald says Eric is completely supported by his parents because he's been in a junior college for 6 years and only works 8 hours a month. Michael admits that he smokes marijuana, but insists it's for a medical condition, and he's countersuing for property damage and rent.
Start with you, sir.
Well, so I met the defendant sometime in 2005 when we lived in San Diego. Between 2005 and 2008, when we lived together, we were random acquaintances, had a couple of the same friends, saw him maybe 5 times or something. So in 2008, October 2008, my roommate Josh and I had somebody move out of our condo that we were renting, and we needed somebody to fill the room as soon as possible. So I was referred to the defendant, Michael, and his brother needed a room to live in as soon as possible, so they worked out, you know. Josh and I moved him in. Me and Josh made an agreement together that we would give them a 3-month trial period to see how they worked out, and then we'd decide if they can still live with us or if we were going to find a new roommate. So the 3 months go by, and they really did not fit in with Josh and I's lifestyle.
Why not?
You know what? I would come home from work or school, Josh and I, and it was like walking into the set of Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. You could barely breathe.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The clock was always stuck at 4:20 at this house, basically. It never ended. So, you know what? That's not the way I live my life.
Weed heads, is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah, big time, to the extreme. And that's not the way I want to live my life. Not to mention his brother, you know, was sniffing coke here and there. It actually happened, so.
It's not true.
You know what? When it got to that was the final straw for Josh and I. Josh decided to move out. I decided to move out shortly after, and then.
Now, were you all signed on to a lease?
Negative.
So you were all living on a month-to-month tenancy with the landlord?
Yes, sir.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Let me hear your side, sir.
First of all, Eric Smith is pretty much like Van Wilder in the movie.
Who?
Van Wilder. He's been at a junior college for 6 years, is unable to get into a 4-year university. You know, I mean, he's been living.
You've been in junior college for 6 years?
On and off, yeah. I've gone to junior college on and off and work too.
For 6?
I don't see a real problem with that, you know. I'm pursuing school, so.
And then, I mean, he was working like maybe 8 hours a month. His parents were completely supporting him. I mean, this guy pretty much, you know, just didn't do anything like for himself. Everything was given to him. As pertaining to weed for me technically is medicine. Because in the state of California, hey, I've had, you know, I got arthritis in both my legs from football surgeries and stuff, so then the doctor gave me a recommendation for it. And I have that right here.
Did the doctor say smoke it all day?
No, and I wasn't smoking it all day. I actually have a job that I go to every day. Unlike Mr. Smith over here, who doesn't work.
Your Honor, he tests video games and he collects unemployment for a few weeks and smokes pot.
All right. So. I'm one of those who don't have a problem with medical marijuana. If you're using it for medical purposes, go right ahead. He slips and falls every other week. Yeah. So he can get himself. So.
As far as
why did they leave? To your knowledge?
To my knowledge, he was telling us the entire time that he was going to move out. At, you know, July 1st was going to be like his last day. And then come to like 2 weeks before I'm about to leave for New Jersey to go to my sister's graduation at Rutgers. He's dropping us off at the airport and he goes, oh yeah, by the way guys, I'm leaving at the end of the month. And then, because the whole time I had one of my best friends that wanted to move.
So you had a month notice?
No, he gave me 15 days notice.
Okay, it was 15
But he said that I was
like right before
time that I was not moving out. So
let's hear your claim against him before we get to his counterclaim of rent. Security deposit, how does he owe you for that?
Well, he owes me for that because not only did me and him make an agreement that the person moving in was going to pay me that $500 in full when they moved in, but...
Okay, you were moving out and you all agreed that he had a roommate to move in?
Move into my room, pay my deposit to me.
Okay.
And that was it. That was the agreement.
And you haven't received your deposit back, obviously.
Exactly, yeah.
Sir?
Well, in case you don't know, a deposit is for damages that you might do to the house while you're living there, or for unpaid rent. And I personally never got a check from Mr. Smith for anything, for a deposit or anything. I have no knowledge of him paying anyone in this phantom deposit that he claims he paid.
Your Honor, I object that. He knows that I paid the deposit. I actually have a contract right here.
You paid him? How did you pay him?
I did not pay him the deposit because he wasn't on the lease of the house. I paid the leasee of the house my deposit when I moved in. And I have a contract with him.
With whom?
With the leasee, Josh.
Isn't that who you should be suing?
Negative, because
Yes,
me and him.
positive.
We had an agreement though that the person moving
You
into my
have the
room.
agreement. You just said you have an agreement paying Josh. Let me see what you have, sir.
I have proof saying that I paid him,
No, the agreement
and I have another.
that you...
Here's another statement from Josh. That was the contract me and Josh
This
made.
is a written contract between Eric and Josh.
Yes.
This isn't a contract with him.
I don't know, but that's just to prove that I paid the deposit. I actually paid my deposit because he said he doesn't know if I did.
Okay, but you paid it to Josh,
Yes.
who you had a contract with.
Yes.
So why are you suing him?
Because the person moving into my room was supposed to pay me my deposit. If you look on Josh's statement, he tells how.
All I'm looking at is a contract,
Okay.
sir. I don't need to look at statements. I have a contract here that you acknowledge is valid.
The way that it worked is the landlord didn't deal with the deposit. Each person that moved into the house paid the deposit to the person moving out. That's the way it's worked for years there, Josh has told me. So, and that's the way it always worked.
Good enough.
That was the
And let me
agreement.
tell you how contracts work, particularly written ones. If the written contract says this is between Eric Smith and Josh Rubin, that's who it's between. If it doesn't have anyone else's name on here, no one else is liable for it.
I understand that.
I'm glad you do. Cable bill, how does he owe you for that?
Well, he didn't pay me for cable bills from the months of, I believe it was April through August.
What was the agreement on the
I have all
cable
the bills
bill?
here. Well, basically we split it between the 4 people in the house. I had
Okay.
the cable bill under my name, and everybody else paid me except for
Except him. Sir?
All right, so along with cable bill, Mr. Smith had the cable in his name, and when he moved out, we tried to have it switched into my brother's name. And then after he didn't do that, we told him to shut it off, and this is mid-June, and he's already been out of the house. He left it on until the end of August, expecting us just to pay for everything.
I shut it off.
It was
Why?
plugged in. I didn't do anything.
Trying to help you. You're interfering. You shut it off when?
I shut it off towards the end of August.
When did you move?
I moved out at the end of May.
When did you tell him you would shut it off?
I warned him a couple of times starting the middle of July that I'm going to shut it off if he doesn't pay me and transfer it into his name, because they hadn't paid me for that.
And what
month.
happened with the transfer?
Basically, it never happened.
Why?
Just because I tried to transfer it into their name a couple of times, he was ignoring all my calls because he knew he owed
So
me
why
this
didn't you
money.
just have it cut off at that time?
I ended up cutting it off, but it took me a few months to do it.
Okay, and so his defense is, why do I have to pay for something which you had the responsibility of ending? Your counterclaim for property damage and rent is for what?
All right, I got a carpet estimate, and then I have a bunch of pictures of the damages done right here to the whole house.
Okay.
I've talked with the landlord, and we worked out a deal to where if I supply the materials, then like the carpeting, he's going to supply the padding and the
He
labor.
caused all these damages?
All these damages were prior to me and my brother moving in. I have no idea who caused all these damages, but to my knowledge, it was him and the former roommate.
Sir, what do you have to say about the damage to the carpet and some to the walls?
Well, basically, that was all done before I moved into the house. And the reason I handed you that contract with Josh is when I paid my deposit, I made a contract with him showing that his carpets were messed up, the walls are messed up, and there's a hole in the wall so I could cover myself.
Okay.
Yeah, it says that.
Josh Rubin with previous damage to the property of the hole in the wall of the downstairs garage and the necessity of painting. There's also a need for carpet cleaning. And this is written contract. Sir, he acknowledged that already existed. And you said existed when you were there.
Yes.
How much in damage are you asking for, sir, property damage?
There's $1,853 in damage to the carpet. There's $200 to structural damage throughout the house, including the holes in the garage.
And there was 4 people living there. Why wouldn't I divide it by 4?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. And now let's get to the rent. How does he owe you for rent?
Because he failed to give us a proper 30 days notice. He only gave us 15 days notice.
Sir?
Sometime in the beginning of May, I gave him a specific time. I'm moving out at the end of this month.
Okay. Sometime is not good enough.
And that was our agreement.
$2,053 for the property damage divided by 4 people equals what?
$513.
Plus the rent of $375 for that 1 month. I will grant you that because I believe you're entitled to a formal 30-day notice, which I'm not convinced he gave. With regard to your claim, sir, you're not entitled to the return of the security deposit because you had no agreement with him. Josh owes you the security deposit. Now, the cable bills, you can't use the cable and say, I'm using it and I don't have to pay because he left it on. $265 is your judgment for the cable. And for you, sir, once again, $888 for the property damage, 1/4, and for the rent that I believe he owes for failure to give proper notice. Have a good day, gentlemen. That's my judgment.
Hi, Judge Mathis. My name is Liz, and I have a question for you. We have a new employee who's only been with the company for 2 weeks and they get injured on the job. Are they eligible for workers' comp?
Well, Liz, anytime a worker is hurt on the job, they can file a workers' compensation claim with their boss. There is no grace period, and even temporary employees are entitled to benefits.